One of the most remarkable sights in life is actually observing the developmental process and the evolutionary process involved in the emergence of the monarch butterfly. Simply put, the butterfly. If you've ever given attention to how the butterfly emerges, I'm sure by now you do know that it begins with an insignificant egg in an insignificant place. It moves on to become a very ugly and unappealing thing we call the larva. It's what you call the caterpillar. And from that stage, we move on to what we call the chrysalis. And at that stage, the butterfly is sedentary, no activity. You don't see it moving anywhere, doing anything, as against when it was a larva and it was moving everywhere, eating everything. And then from the chrysalis phase, where it is sedentary, you don't see activity outside, except for the fact that the butterfly is growing inside. All of a sudden, the next stage emerges when the chrysalis gives way for the emergence of the beautiful butterfly that you and I do adore. You see, as we look at the story of the butterfly, it just goes on to tell you one thing: process. That if the butterfly is going to go from that egg to this beautiful butterfly, it cannot evade the process. In the same vein, if you're going to move from the kind of person that you are to the leader you aspire to become, you cannot also evade the process. So we always say you can't evade the process and get the outcome. The reason why we have so many casualties today and challenges in organizations, in institutions, in nations, is because we have leaders who have not gone through the process coming over to leadership positions to lead. You know, this is so remarkable. For think about that developmental stage involved in the emergence of that beautiful butterfly. It goes on to tell you a few things. Number one, if the butterfly has to emerge from being an egg, a larva, and a chrysalis into that beautiful butterfly, it must eat to grow. In the same vein, if you're going to become a leader, you must read to lead. And it's also critical to note that there must be a stage in the butterfly's life when it grows inside before it grows outside. Or put it another way, where the butterfly grows inside before it shows outside. Great leaders who wants to see their leadership life, show outside, they grow inside. In essence, we always say you grow from the inside out if you're going to become an effective leader. I want to talk to you about the developmental process involved in becoming a 5-star leader. But before I do that, let me attempt by any stretch of the imagination to bring to your remembrance who a leader is. But before I do that, let me remind you that you can't afford to be waiting to lead in the future when you can start leading the future now. If the butterfly had to wait in that egg stage for the butterfly to emerge, it will never become a butterfly. In essence, the butterfly, if you're going to become one in the future, you have to begin the journey from where you are. In the same vein, start leading the future right now. I like the words of John Quincy Adams, the 6th president of the United States, when talking about who a leader is. He made a very profound statement, and I'd like you to give attention to it. He said, if your actions inspire other people to dream more, you're a leader. If you find out that everywhere you go to, your actions inspire people to dream more, you're a leader. Number 2, it said, if your action inspire other people to want to learn more and eventually learn more, you're a leader. And some of you don't even know that you're leaders, but that's what Quincy Adams has observed as a president. If your presence, your participation, your interaction always wants to make people to learn more, do more, it said you're a leader. Not only that, number 3, it said if your presence, if you inspire people, your actions, by your participation, to want to do more, he said you're also a leader. He went beyond all of that to say, if you inspire people, if your participation, your presence, your interaction always want to make people become more, it said you are also a leader. Having said all of that, it is critical for us to understand who a leader is in simple terms. A leader is anyone who exercises special influence within a group in order to move the group, the community, the people from a state of lower existence to a state of higher existence. If you are the kind of person who, whenever you come into a group, by the time you provide leadership, you move them from a state of lower existence, lower state of being, to a higher state of being, there goes a leader on the inside of you. So leaders traffic in the world of movement. You can't be a leader over a people and leave them where you met them. In actual fact, it is against the spirit of leadership to leave a people worse off than you met them. Leaders make people better. Leaders make organizations become better. Leaders take organizations from their egg stage through their larva stage, through their chrysalis stage to their butterfly stages. It is critical to know that the job of leaders is to make people, communities, organizations better. Leadership is not about occupying the position. Leadership is about changing the people's disposition, condition, and situation. It is what our leaders are expected to be and expected to do. So as you journey into the world of leadership, it is critical for you to understand that leadership is all about exercising that special discipline that moves a group from a lower state of being, from a state of actuality to a state of possibility, from a state of current realities to a state where we have our preferred realities or future realities. It is the job of leaders to move people, to move organizations. If that is going to happen across board and at higher levels, you need to embrace the concept of becoming a 5-star leader. A 5-star leader is one who engages in inspiring, informing, influencing, and impacting the people positively in order to develop the people for the task ahead of them. A 5-star leader is one who engages inspiration. You inspire the people. Information. You inform the people. Influence or persuasion. You want to use that and impact, direct interaction with the people, which results in making the people become better to make the society better. So 5-star leaders change disposition, condition, and situations. There are 5 stages involved in becoming a 5-star leader, just like there are stages involved in becoming a butterfly. It doesn't all happen overnight. It is a journey. It is a process. The first stage involved in becoming a 5-star leader who informs, inspires, who influences and impacts people and develop them to become better so they make society better. The first stage involved is what we call self-leadership, leading yourself. It is that stage where you develop the skills, you develop the practices, you develop the intelligence first to lead yourself. It is not wisdom for you as a leader to seek to lead others when you've not led yourself well. You see, if you try to lead others and you've not led yourself well, it will soon show. And the problem with that is that over time, lack of self-leadership will cause you to fail where you're trying to provide leadership for others. This is one of the major reasons why many who lead others but can lead themselves eventually make a mockery of leadership positions. Don't forget that if you're going to develop your ability to lead yourself as a leader, you need to develop certain intelligences, certain practices, and certain skill sets. I wish I can talk to you about that today, but we will talk about that some other day. Number 2, it is critical for you to know that in the evolutionary process, developmental stages of becoming a 5-star leader, having led yourself, having developed the competencies required to lead yourself, some of the intelligences you need to lead yourself include emotional intelligence, adaptive intelligence. You need also what we call social intelligence. You need what we call positive intelligence. All these intelligences are needed if you are going to lead yourself. And as one who is also leading yourself, you need basic skills. Some of the skills include money management skills, self-mastery skills, public speaking skills. You need to develop them if you want to lead yourself. And then to lead others, it is critical also for you to know that leading others is not the same as leading yourself. But you can lead others well if you've not led yourself well. Let me say that again. You can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. And it is dangerous to try to lead others like you lead yourself. Others are not you, you are not others. So don't go to lead others like you lead yourself. That is why one of the skills you need to lead others is people skills. You need to be able to understand the different editions of human beings. Communication skills, you need that. All the intelligences, you need them. Number 3, you need to be able to lead leaders. Leaders are not others, and leaders are not you. It is critical for you to understand that you need to be able to lead yourself to lead others, and you can't lead others as you lead yourself. And in the same vein, you can't lead leaders if you've not led yourself well, and you can't provide effective leadership for leaders when you've not mastered leading others in small settings. Now, it is critical to also note that you can't lead leaders like you lead others. So you need to master leading leaders based on the skill sets required to lead leaders. Leaders are a very special breed of people, and you need to understand how they prefer to be led so that you can practice and master leading leaders. We call it leadership. You lead leaders how they prefer to be led. By virtue of the fact that they understand the concepts of leadership, they have a preferred way of being led. As a leader who will lead leaders, you need to know how leaders want to be led. Now, in this developmental stage of becoming a 5-star leader, you'll have to go from leading self, leading others, leading leaders, to leading teams. When we talk about a team, it is a combination and the coming together of leaders with diverse competencies. You must learn how to embrace people in their diversities, people in their unique settings and giftings. You must learn to create the room that embraces others from different tribes, races, and colors and creeds and all of that. Welcome them into the same setting so that together you can pursue one common goal. When it comes to leading teams, it is critical to know that you can't be effective in leading teams if you've not been effective at leading leaders, at leading others, and at leading yourself. Being able to lead self, others, leaders, and teams prepares you to be able to lead organizations. So you can now move on to lead an organization. I want you to imagine being placed over an organization without the competencies in leading yourself, in leading other people, in leading leaders, and leading teams that makes up the organization. I want you to imagine the disaster that the organization will have at hand when it has an incompetent leader who's never led self, never led others, never led leaders, never led teams coming to lead an organization. It is the reason why we have so many chaos in developing countries. It is from leading organizations that you can now lead institutions and lead nations. This is a simple pathway to becoming a 5-star leader. It doesn't happen overnight, but the reality of it is, if you begin now, engage the process, and like that butterfly, if you will move into your caterpillar stage and begin to read to lead, if you will expose yourself to mentorship, if you will connect with people that can help you, over time, as you engage the process, you will go from there to here. You will go from being just an egg to a beautiful butterfly, from just being an ordinary person to an extraordinary 5-star leader. It is my hope and prayer